All right, guys, tomorrow you have focus, study guide, and full chapter outline due tomorrow. Hopefully you've started that outline before now. No? Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right, on your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the sound? You hear the sound of my voice when you leave my classroom still ringing in your ears. What is it, Jude? Echoic. Jenny, turn around. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called? 51st Dates is a perfect example of what type of amnesia? Good. What is it? Olivia. Andrograde. On your whiteboard, please call me, what is it called when McKinnon comes up to me in Publix and I can't remember her name and I'm like, oh my god, I know it, but I can't come up to her with it. What is it, Lauren? Tip of the tongue phenomenon. On your whiteboard, what is it called when my mom gives me the list and I can remember the beginning and the end, but I don't remember a damn thing in the middle, except if it was ice cream, I'd remember the ice cream. Yeah, I would. What is it, Jenny? Serial position effect. Here we go. All right, we got a lot to do. Okay, so when we talk about long-term memories, we have constructive processing as part of it. I don't know if it's on your study guide or not. Constructive processing is when memories are altered, revised, and influenced by new information. So, have you ever... Every single one of us has done something terrible in our lives, whether we said something to someone, we did something to someone, and we're embarrassed of it, correct? In our minds, do we like feeling like bad people, or we want to feel like good people? So what we do is we reconstruct those memories in what we call constructive processing, where we kind of change the memories to a degree to make us feel a little bit better. So we alter and revise old memories with new memory information, and we kind of make it feel better. So... and that's called constructive processing. We also have something called hindsight bias, which is definitely on your test tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Is it in your study guide? Is it on your focus? Oh my god. What? I'm redoing it for next year if it makes you happy. So, hindsight bias is the tendency to falsely believe through a revision of older memories to include new information. Hindsight bias is if... I think everyone in this room knows I don't like Olivia, correct? It's very evident. I don't like her. She's my least favorite student I've ever had. However, if Olivia becomes rich and famous one day, guess who's going to be my favorite student? And guess who I was BFFs with during her time here?
Jude.
Thank you.
Those guys.
Monday
morning quarterback.
Right there was better.
So, hindsight bias is when we change our beliefs in order to make it look like we knew what we were doing the whole time. Olivia, I don't hate you at all. You're just more prime example.
Did you not do the...
Attendance?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I did first period, but not second period because I'm a moron. Or I didn't submit it. I don't think I submitted it, but I didn't.
I have like 2 things left.
The woman hates me, by the way. Miss Krugel? We don't need to know the name of her. Yeah, she hates me. Absolutely.
My study guide, no, Jude.
She probably doesn't know you because you don't leave your room.
No, she
You got
doesn't.
to know her.
was.
Yeah, she's actually she has little candies on her desk. I take one every
She's
day.
super sweet. She's a really lovely lady, but I just think she hates her.
Give us a little...
She just takes her job very seriously.
She does. She does. Which is good, because I take my job very seriously, so I respect that. I don't like that she hates me, because it makes me sad. Alright, so memory retrieval, you have something called the misinformation effect. Thank you, Ripke. I'm really enjoying you today. Misinformation? God damn it. Is the tendency in misleading information presented after an event to alter the memories of the event itself. If I told you, every single one of us has been to someone's birthday party that was awful, correct? And then like one of your friends is like, oh my god, I had the greatest time. And you're like, yeah, you're right, it wasn't that bad. Right? Homecoming, you may have said, oh my god, homecoming's awful. And then after the fact, you're like, you know what, homecoming really wasn't that bad. Because people are like, oh my god, homecoming was so much fun. Thank you, Ripke. Alright, false memory syndrome, creation of false memories through suggestion of others. Don't worry about it. Okay, forgetting. You do. Is it on there?
False memories.
Oh, we crossed that off earlier. Alright, forgetting curve. Curve of forgetting is somewhere on there.
It's on our study guide.
Yes! Curve of forgetting is a graph showing a distinct pattern in which forgetting is very fast within the hour and learning a list. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, stop and look for 2 seconds. You need to listen to this and then you can write it down. Listen, and I'll have plenty of time to write it down. Are you looking? Okay, first of all, you need to write Ebbinghaus in your box for forgetting curve. That's the name of the dude. He's one of your 64. You need to know it. How I remember Ebbinghaus, he's got a lot of syllables in his name. Can we agree? Okay, what he does is he memorizes nonsense syllables. His name looks like a lot of nonsense syllables put together. Can we agree? So he memorizes nonsense syllables. The reason why he does nonsense syllables instead of actual words is because he doesn't want to come up with images of those words. Like when I say dog, in your head you pop up a dog, correct? If I say goldfish in your head, a goldfish pops up. He doesn't want to memorize pictures. He wants to memorize nonsense words to test his memory. So Ebbinghaus has a bunch of syllables in it. He memorizes nonsense syllables, and then he tests himself on how fast or how much he can retain. Look at this and listen. You'll have plenty of time to write it down because this is a big thing. So he memorizes all the words that he's testing his memory on it. If he takes a quiz right away, he knows a lot of information. He noticed that after 15 minutes, there's a huge plummet of information. However, although there's a huge plummet of information, he still maintains something. It's not like he loses everything. So for your application of the forgetting curve, you need to have memorizes nonsense syllables, immediate sharp drop-off of content. However, some things remain. So you don't forget everything. You do retain something, just not a lot. That's what you need to know for Ebbinghaus. And make sure you have his name down, ladies and gentlemen, because he's one of your 64. I hope you enjoyed that experiment. But yeah, he just sat in his house for like 8 years, memorizing nonsense words.
Can you make a lot of money off it? Whoa! Ghost!
Oh.
Ghost!
I've never proof.
That
I
was
was
like,
just touching it.
that was really funny.
Oh my goodness.
That was-
Has that happened? Has that ever happened
I
before?
didn't even see that. That's what the ghost wants.
Who's taller than me? It's not hard.
Dude!
Coker, you're taller than me. Get up.
Yeah.
Can you just pull the nail out? Don't pull it out of the wall. Just pull it out.
See, the ghost pushed it in.
No, my shortness part.
Right there.
You pull it out just a little bit more, please, not to be bad. Thank you kindly. Got it. Thank you, Coker.
That left
So
one.
funny.
Watching your faces
We were
was
just like,
terrifying.
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
saw
oh my
you.
god, serial killer! Instead of a board
Oh,
swinging.
that one that's loose?
No, because it looked like it was gonna like swing.
Alright, so distributed practice. I don't think this comes to any surprise that the more you practice something over longer periods of time, the better you are, correct? If you practice your tuba,
I don't play
so this is the actual forgetting curve. So if he tests himself, 100% of it is remembered if he tests himself immediately. After 20 minutes, only like 55% of the content's remembered. After an hour, only 42%. After 15 days, less than 25% is retained, which is pretty impressive. So if you're going to study for something big, you should do it spread over the long term. I think it's on your focus on your back. Is it on your focus?
Probably not.
It's on the back.
Back of our
Give me
face.
this damn thing, Jacqueline.
Dude, I'm gonna do everything.
So over it.
I need 3 more words.
Okay, so encoding failure is the failure to process information into memory, which means encoding failure, and I would write this down. You can write it in your encoding box on the very front. Encoding, I would just write it underneath. You have plenty of room. I would write failure to process information into memory. It's you didn't study it enough. Like, you're not going to remember something if you don't actually put the effort in behind it. An encoding failure is you didn't think about it as much. For instance, you have an encoding error if you knew someone's name but you can't come up with it. God damn it. Like, I knew, like, I don't know. It's like when you see something and you're like, damn it, I knew that. But, like, it's not a retrieval error because you're not like, oh my God, I know it. You're like, I should have known that. That's an encoding failure. So, which one is the correct penny? This, on your whiteboard, please tell me what is the correct penny. Nice encoding failure you got over there. In God We Trust versus America. United States of America. Way to compare there.
Whoa.
The answer is
Hi.
A.
It's gotta be
What?
How?
Okay.
Which one was it?
A.
How do we know you're not lying to us?
Pull out a penny.
Who carries a penny? Not my penny.
That's the most shocking thing you've heard in this classroom. Who carries a penny?
It's like, does anyone have a penny on their like?
I bet you I can tell you what a quarter looks like because that's how I pay for most of my meals.
So memory traces are physical changes in the brain that occur when a memory is formed. Decay, you have memory decay on the very front page.
Do we?
Yes, we do.
Woohoo! Score one for Bennett.
So it's a loss of memory due to passage of time during which the memory trace is not used. So for instance, if I went up to Massachusetts and I was walking around Stop and Shop and someone was like, Sam? And I'd be like, yeah. And it would be like, oh my God, don't you remember me? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, we went to high school together. You left senior year. And I'm like, so who are you? And then once they say it, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. Disuse is another name for decay that comes when memories will eventually decay and disappear. So if you don't use it, you lose it. So proactive interference, which is somewhere on your damn sheet. I think it's on the back of your focus. It's not? Damn it, Riley. I need to. I already have it on my list. Thank you, Sophia. I appreciate your comments, Sophia. It's nice that I have the running commentary of Ripkey and now you, Sophie, in the same spot, just opposite sides of the room. It's really lovely.
Is
it?
It's on the study guide.
Yeah, come at me, Sophie.
Where?
It's retroactive.
All right, well, you need proactive as well.
Never mind.
Yeah, you can write it wherever the hell. No, you're going to need retro interference as well. All right, so proactive interference is a memory retrieval problem that interferes when older information prevents or interferes with the retrieval of new information. A perfect example of this, and this is a test question, is I had Grace Owens for 2 years in school. She graduated last year. This year, I have Olivia Owens, who looks exactly like Grace Owens, and she sits right there where Grace sat. So the whole time, I now just call her Owens because I always get nervous. Because sometimes I can only think of Grace, but don't tell me. But I call her Grace all the damn time. And the reason why I call her Grace all the damn time is because I had Grace for 2 years. Her picture's on my wall back there, damn it. Okay? So that's proactive interference. When old information affects new information. Because I've known Grace for 2 years and I just met Miss Owens this year for the first time, I only want to call her Grace. But now I cheat and just call her Owens, which is why I
Well,
want her
she's
to
gonna
cheat.
know because you're recording this.
Well, she's going to be in class today, so I won't use that as my example. Or maybe I will. I haven't quite decided. Riley?
I find your example kind of funny since I've had had multiple teachers use my last name because they always confused me with my brother somehow.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't have your brother. Who's your brother?
Sam Stone. Stone. He graduated last year.
I'm aware of a Samson.
He had Asian tech, but I think he had a different teacher.
There you go. There
He
you
was
go.
like Ren's.
That's how I know. That's how I know. Okay, because I know what Brendan was talking about. What? You can do whatever you want, girl. I'm still teaching. Alright. Retroactive interference, which is on your study guide, which is why Ripkey's not fussing over there. Or Sophie. Is memory retrieval problem that occurs when new information prevents or interferes with the retrieval of older information. If you get a brand new cell phone number, it's hard to recall your old cell phone number. True or not true? There you go. That would be retroactive interference. It is really important you have good examples for this, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm pretty sure this is 2 test questions. So, proactive interference is when it prevents, when older information prevents or interferes with the retrieval of new. So I had Grace for 2 years. Now I have, I had Grace for 2 years. Now I have Olivia, and I keep calling her Grace. That would be proactive. Retroactive is when newer information prevents or interferes with retrieval of old information. Separate example of that would be you could use, you can't remember your old phone number. Would be another.
New vocab terms.
No, because like,
To a new house, forgetting your address.
yes, forgetting your address for your old one. That would be a good one. What else?
Luck combination.
Yeah, you can't remember your old one because you got a new one.
Getting a new schedule for this next semester.
That's true. Oh, you guys are good. I'm terrible at this today. Okay. Okay, so proactive, retroactive, LTMs, Ingram, consolidation. Hippocampus is the part of the brain that's used the most, just fun fact. Amnesia, we have retrograde and andrograde. You should have retrograde on there somewhere.
Sure.
Damn it. Ripkey, don't even. Is it on the back page?
It's a raw stuff. Look at trying to
I only have like 4 words left.
See, then we took up 2 boxes saying like 3 steps in memory processing and like 3-stage modeling.
I'm already redoing it, okay? I know. Next year's kids, I like way better than this year's kids anyway, so I'm going to make sure they're well taken care of.
What are the 3 stages?
I know.
of memory. Is that it?
Yes. Alright. Yeah, I do. I have them now. Oh my god, all of you are such elitists. You guys were the best of the best, and now everyone behind you is awful. Ugh.
Well, sophomore literally translates into smart idiot. Or blind idiot.
I've never heard that before. I don't know where you got that. I've never heard that.
That's actually the Latin word.
Retrograde is a loss of memory from the point of something and the trauma backwards. So, retrograde amnesia is... What movie is it with when she gets into the car accident and can't remember it? The Channing Tatum telling her, "I love you." You don't even need to have amnesia. If Channing Tatum told me he loved me and that he's my husband, I'd be like, McCray, who? Just kidding. What? What's the stupid movie?
I don't know what it's called.
Footloose.
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs.
That movie scared me.
What is the movie?
Can I look it up?
Yeah,
Isn't there a new?
Channing Tatum and like Rachel McAdams.
That's like.
How do you have time to watch movies?
Like middle of the road.
How do I have time to watch movies?
I
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about.
No.
I don't like horror movies.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway.
In that movie, what? The Vow. Oh, you're good. You're good.
The internet is good.
In The Vow, Rachel McAdams' character gets into a really bad car accident, and she can't remember her life previous to the accident. It kind of resets her back to like 4 years before, and she's trying to figure out. She dropped out of Northwestern or something to go to art school and stuff like that. She was an artist now. She wasn't an artist 4 years before, and then she like goes through the whole process again. She makes the same decisions because her life choice is the right thing and what all this crap. And that was a lot of information for something you don't need. It's fine. What you need to know about retrograde amnesia is when the accident occurs, you can't remember anything. So say, knock on wood, I get into a car accident today coming home from work, and I have retrograde amnesia. I'm not going to remember my bomb 30th birthday. I'm not going to remember my wedding day. I'm not going to remember my when McCray proposed. I'm not going to remember all the amazing memories I have with my bestie. I'm not going to remember all the stupid holiday things my family does. My mom goes nuts on holidays and stuff like that. So I'm not going to remember any of that stuff. Riley?
How would that affect your personality? Because your personality is literally built on
You have your personality still to a degree. You're just, it's going to be one you're trying to figure out why. And it's still going to be based on it. So no one remembers their early childhood, ladies and gentlemen. Because your brain isn't trying to retain it. You just can't. And the memory for events and facts, one person's life and one's personal life is going to be the most important things to you, which makes a lot of sense. What?
Has anybody tried to like train like kids at a young age to remember?
No.
Why wouldn't they try that?
Why?
I would love to remember my
All
childhood.
you do is eat Cheerios, play, nap, poop, and sleep. Like, that's all you do.
like your first trip to like Universal. Like
You
stuff
don't remember
like
your
that.
first trip to Universal?
Nope.
Third, we should have. That's already happened. There's like hot. That's memory. So don't even come at me looking at all this crap. Jacqueline, you stranger.
You do self-reference.
I like have to
Ours
read
is really filled in.
Yeah, you do.
Mine's about
I
it.
literally
And I need hierarchy.
But I don't think he's sassy.
Yeah, and then
I don't think he's sassy about it.
And then what's 3 steps in memory processing?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, cool.
And self-reference is the weak
Alright.
part.
So can we just
Good. I've covered most of the stuff, so don't get too fussy with me, mostly Rookie. So Alzheimer's, our primary, is your disease that affects your memory. Everyone in this room knows someone who has or experienced it. Oh, good for you. If it's a family thing, it's genetic. So if you have it in your family, you're more significantly more likely to have it. Anyway, so what it is, it's retrograde amnesia. They can't remember anything that happened in the previous life. It's the Notebook. She can't remember. She's Alzheimer's disease. She can't remember her previous life with Noah, who is, what's his face?
Previous.
I don't know why I could remember his character or not. Ryan Gosling. Once again, Ryan Gosling comes to me and says, "Hey, you're my wife." I'm going to say, McCray who? It's fine. He'll be fine.
recording?
Yes. He doesn't listen to this. He doesn't give a crap.
What if you did, though? That'd be really funny.
This is
Like,
the
one
only
year
one he's
later,
ever
like,
listened to.
the
and he's
one
like,
Good. All right, that's it. That's your content for this week. What do you need? Jude.
Self-reference effect.
Self-reference
Yes.
effect. Does everyone have it?
Isn't that being like
What is it?
relevant to yourself and
Processing
remembering better?
information deemed important or relevant, making it easier to recall.
Okay, so it's exactly what I do in my classroom. We constantly make connections to our own lives and our own experiences. So
What's an example?
it's easier to retain things that are about you, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if I ask you what has been your favorite thing about AP Psych, you're going to talk about an experience that was positive for you. Even though the best thing that's happened in AP Psych is Olivia being here. Because she's famous. I gotta earn my points back, you know what I mean? I gotta earn my points back. So, everything, you're gonna learn things better because you experienced them. Does that make sense? Alright, what else? Olivia.
What's
Deep level processing is when you go super, super in depth and super complex into something. Have you ever had like a really, really specific project or an activity you had to do, spend way too much time on? What was it? Shh, yeah.
I don't remember like specifically, but like
So in 4th grade in Massachusetts, everyone goes to Plymouth Plantation. And then you have to do a diagram of Plymouth Plantation. But you can't draw it. You have to make a 3D model of it.
I did that. Like something like that. I make like a whole we had to pick the environment, like an ecosystem. We had to make it. My dad would use like plaster of Paris.
Yes, we had to. I use little milk cartons. I use little cinnamon for the little pathways in between my houses. And everything, you couldn't just use color pencils and crayons and stuff. It all had to like feel. It took me like 3 weeks to make it because my mom's a teacher and she's like, I'm not doing your projects. Teachers are wanting you to do the projects. You people are so spoiled.
It makes sense that projects are like the
So-
dumbest thing in the world.
Why?
It's like they're so stupid. It's not like a real like.
Some people do really cool ones. But
The deep level is going really in-depth.
deep is like super, super intense. Like the fact that I know way more about South Dakota in general, and most people know South Dakota is a state in the United States.
And the shallow is just barely.
Yeah, just like a recognition kind of thing. Like, oh, have we talked about South Dakota? Yeah, we've talked about South Dakota.
It's kind of hilarious that you got stuck in South Dakota.
It's terrible. It was terrible, but I'm gonna see it. Damn it, I'm going one day. Jude.
Hierarchies.
Hierarchies is how we break down information into manageable, smaller bits. So we have hierarchies. Hierarchies is what we use for a semantic network model. So, like for instance, all of your animals fall under hierarchies, correct? Like mammals, reptiles,
The kingdoms.
all that crap. Okay, now you're just like fancy.
Can I turn this stuff on?
Yeah. So it's how we break down larger pieces of information into smaller pieces of information. So if I wanted to do Apple products, Apple company, so you would do phones, iPods, computers, laptops, and then underneath all the computers you would have all the different listed ones, all the different phones you'd have listed, all the different music listening devices, stuff like that. You'd have Beats, because Beats, Apple now owns Beats. You'd have the music company, like the music store and stuff like that. iTunes and stuff. You'd have all that. What do you got? Relearning is when you learn something again.
Right, but like in what context? Like when you have an injury or just like in general?
In general. When you didn't commit it to memory or you had an encoding failure or retrieval failure, you do relearning in order to make sure you encode it correctly in order to be retrieved correctly. What do you got? Sophie, you look super cozy today.
3-stage model.
Do you curl your bangs?
No.
It naturally looks like that?
No, I just
Oh,
looked at
okay, good. Because if it naturally looked like that, I'd be so pissed.
No, I have my mom.
No way!
Hairstylist, so I have her do everything.
It's not crazy.
No, that's awesome.
She hates it. But I don't wake up at like 6:40. I wake up at like 7. I don't know.
Dude, I wake up at 6.
I wake up at 5:40. No, 4:40 every day. Because I'm at the dog park at 5 o'clock when the lights come on.
I have to wake up at 4 tomorrow because my appointment is at
Oh my god,
6.
yeah, oh my god, we feel so bad for you.
Ooh.
What is your question, Miss Perfect Banks?
3-stage model of memory.
That. I need the other 3 steps in memory processing.
Oh.
Yeah, 3 steps of memory processing. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Anyone have it?
Where is it?
It's on the second page, like halfway down.
Encoding storage retrieval.
Yes! My girl! What do you need?
What's an example of priming?
Private. Oh! Peanut butter and?
Jelly.
Yes! It's when things are constantly put together that you make a genuine connection. Peanut butter and jelly, macaroni and?
Cheese.
Cookies and?
Cream.
Cookies and pasta? That's so weird. Oh, what would be another one?
Tom and
Jerry!
Tom.
Why
Tom and Tom.
That'd be
Oh,
funny.
Tom.
What if Jerry's name is actually Tom and they're
Ron
just
James
fighting?
and-
They're fighting all the
Right.
time because they think one of them stole each other's names.
What the hell are you talking
No.
about?
What if
Mice.
Tom's always chasing Jerry
Get
because he's like, you took
chased
my
by
name, you
cats.
little rat, and like.
This
Does
is
anybody
the
ever, like,
worst-
No,
that's the
no,
worst
that
flaw.
makes
Scooby-Doo and
no
Shaggy.
That's the
sense.
worst flaw I've
Zero
No one
sense.
watched that.
I
Miss
always
Bennett,
reform
Scooby-Doo, and
TV
Shaggy.
shows to think of like the act to like try
There you
to find
go.
the actual meaning.
Alright, what else?
There's no
Sam?
meaning to that.
Huh? Repression is when you suppress memories. Repression is when you suppress memories because you don't like them. Most of the time, it's traumatic memories. Can we agree? Abuse, you suppress. Like, for instance, I think one of the worst things that could happen to me personally is being raped. Thankfully, that has not occurred in our society, thankfully. However, I think that would be one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, and I don't know how I would move forward from that because of that huge, I don't know what I would do. If that happened to me, the only way that I would be able to continue my life is to repress it. I would force myself to try to forget. Repression is a forcing of yourself to try to forget. Now, if you try to forget something, can you forget something? No, it's repressed. It's still in there. Absolutely not. And it's going to come out in other ways. So, and abuse of drugs and abuse of this and that, some other ways as well. That's repression. All right, what else? Trying to fill in your study guide since I was such an epic fail there, Ripkey. What else do you need, boss?
3 sets of memory processing.
What?
We just said that.
Yeah, my girl Katrina had my back.
Yeah. I got it. I was just thinking of the other one.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
Karina.
Karina, just called her Katrina, didn't I? I knew it was
That's the
Karina. I always
hurricane.
call you Karina.
Wait, we can cross out false memory, right?
Well, you know, you should have replaced it with something else. All right, what else you need?
We're fine. We can just
Yeah,
chill.
that's like kind of.
How much time do we have?